Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people?
All right, welcome. Oh my God, that was way too loud, at least in my headphones. I mean, sorry about that. Hopefully it wasn't loud for everybody else, but this is another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I'm Angel Rivera alongside Mrs.Witchy Perfect, and hopefully you're feeling a lot better today.
I am, yeah. Found better medicine.
Oh, nice. Sounds good. So, whoops. Oh my God. So I have a article that CNN wrote about AEW.
Uh-oh.
It was a glowing article. It was like a fawning article about the company.
Oh, so they like billionaires too. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm seeing a working pattern here.
We'll do general WWE thoughts and a little bit later on. But yeah, I mean, they wrote a glowing article about AEW, and it's an obvious conflict of interest because CNN and AEW owned by the same company. So Warner WBD.
The WB.
Yeah, so it's an obvious conflict of interest as well. So let me share my screen. Oops. I don't know. Ah, here we go. There you go. The shocking rule-breaking new move in pro wrestling. Getting specific about politics. Let's see. There you go. Big bad Brody King stood in one corner. Long grade, streaked beard, jutting out, all hulking muscle. He's not all muscle. And he has shitty tattoos as well.
CM Punk.
Wired logo trunks. In the other corner, hair combed neatly back and beard tightly trimmed, stood Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the reigning AEW All Elite Wrestling World Champion. With two pro wrestlers about to square up in a Wednesday night match in Las Vegas, the fired up crowd spoke with one voice: fuck ice. There was literally fuck ice, by the way. It was F ice. It was fuck ice going out here live on TBS. The video with a stiff-faced Friedman casting wide-eyed sideways looks at the crowd quickly spread outside the circles of wrestling fandom. A great match is a great match. That wasn't a great match. Like, Brody King literally squashed MJF. The video, blah. A great match is a great match. A erratic babyface or heel has always been known to make the leap to Hollywood stardom and beyond, but rarely does a crowd reaction at events make a splash in the broader world. Professional wrestling is always drawn on politics as a source drama. There was Hulk Hogan stomped into the ring while his theme song "Real American" blared over the speaker, rousing him to fight the foreign Iron Sheik or Sergeant Slaughter, who villain made him Saddam Hussein sympathizer at the height of the Gulf War. But the chance of the recent AEW match showcased a new, specific way that wrestling is grappling with politics. If American life has, as commentators said, it can more and more to resemble pro wrestling, I've said that, and you've said that, and others have said that. It's actually picking that up, and it's like, oh yeah, commentators have said that more and more politics is becoming more and more like pro wrestling, has evolved to meet it, where wrestlers used to work in broad cartoonish that appealed to agreed upon citizens. Today, the question of what is good guys stand for is a live dispute matching the conflicts playing out in the real world. Let's see.
It's just, they are trying to bring. They're trying to bring, they're trying to bring up a subject of, oh, well, let's be on this side because that's what we want to be. And I think this really, honestly, feels like a distraction to the fact that Tony Khan is a billionaire, while a billionaire's son, and Chad Khan is probably on the Epstein files.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. So Brody King has raised money to support immigrants and has worn an Abolish ICE t-shirt in the ring. Hangman Adam Page gave a speech in Spanish during the show in Mexico City. That was one of the worst promos I've ever heard in my life. If you heard this promo, and I'm fluent in Spanish, I could barely understand what he said. And CNN is acting like it's like a great promo and stuff. Reminiscing about working side by side with the Mexican workers in the U.S. and praising their values and work ethic. Then declaring that he planned to hunt down his rival John Moxley and Le Boy Padre. He's like, yeah.
Is that something dirty?
I'm just gonna beat you up, basically. It's not. It's a Mexican slang, basically. By using it, acting like trying to
like he's one of the boys,
over with
like,
audience.
oh, I'm one of you. You're a white dude. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Mexican slang, so I'm gonna kick your ass, basically. But you can actually watch two ideas fight each other in the ring. Let's see what this nonsense is. The most prominent political chants in wrestling history is the USA chant for jeering wrestlers who hailed from outside the U.S. said Eero Lane, a professor of theater who studies the history of professional wrestling at the State University of New York in Buffalo. World Wrestling Entertainment also had a tag team named the Real Americans, portrayed by American wrestler Jack Swagger and Swiss wrestler Cesaro, who led the crowd in We the People chant.
So I have a question. If you can study the history of professional, that's actually a major where you can be like a pro wrestling historian or something?
No, apparently he's a professor of theater who happens to study professional wrestling. So he's not really, he's a professor of theater at this college.
I was going to say,
so,
what the hell?
Wrestlers, Lane said, could embody an idea. You can actually go watch two ideas fight each ring. You can cheer and boo for them, he said. So there's a kind of morality play at work here in the ring.
Well, yeah, that is the art of professional wrestling. It's literally two guys in the ring. One's supposed to be a heel, the other one's supposed to be a babyface. That is the art of professional wrestling and art of the business. That's been around for generations and generations.
Yeah.
Back in when it started in the carny days, in the circus, That's why there's some older wrestlers that would say, well, say something in carny, because they didn't want the audience to pick up what they were doing. So they could say something in what they call carny speak, and it would be assigned to the other wrestler that literally, we were going to do something in the ring. And, that's where it kind of started. It kind of started with the circus.
Yeah. So sometimes wrestlers even portray real political figures. That's when impersonators of then Senators Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton squared off during the 2008 presidential campaign. But the anti-ICE calls from crowd at AEW, Lane said, are interesting that they support a political stance associated with one of the wrestlers, but not necessarily directly related to what's happening in the ring. And the chant is not part of their repertoire of standard wrestling chants. So again,
they're trying to distract, I guess. I don't know who started it. That could have been someone in the crowd who wanted to initiate all that. And that's fine. Fans are free to chant what they want because it's a wrestling event. It's no different than going to a soccer game or to a football game and chanting for your favorite football team or soccer team. It just happened to be political.
Yeah, but the issue is that hurts the company. They love this company so much, but it often hurts the company because no advertiser wants to be associated with a company that allows their fans to say fuck ICE. These same companies are in bed with the administration, so it's like they're not interested in promoting and having their brand associated with that television show. So, and TBS cannot be happy about this either. I mean, like they have to be furious about this behind the scenes. Like the fuck are you doing? We're trying to get a sale finalized, and the administration has to approve it.
Right. This would be like if WCW was still, it was in 2001, but I mean, it was slowly going downhill, and we could see the writing on the wall for WCW. But if it had sustained in 2001, excuse me, if it actually had sustained itself and actually, been a real business that could stand up to Vince, because Vince had already, won the Monday Night Wars, but
yeah,
it would be equivalent to if like a bunch of people went to a WCW event and literally chanted, we deserved it. We deserve 9/11. We deserve 9/11 or something, like that. After the, everything was still new. We still didn't have any information about the attacks, and, we were vulnerable, country. So, I mean, it would be like equivalent to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they say, yeah, I mean, that it can't help TBS either with their advertising. On top of that, with their trying to approve a sale to Netflix. So right now that hasn't been approved yet. So that's still up in the air whether it's going to be approved or not. Next president in the Hall of Fame. The embrace of contemporary issues is part of a larger politically shaded rivalry playing out the industry between 70-year-old AEW and the industry's ruling juggernaut for generations, WWE. Admit this year, Warner Brothers Discovery, CNN parent company, owns a minority stake in AEW. Remember when we talked about how we were sure that they had to own a piece? They do. They just admitted to it in this article. So finally, we got confirmation.
So WWE actually owns a part of AEW.
Yeah, WBD. Yeah.
You're kidding. No wonder it's still afloat.
Yeah, they suspected this for a while. We talked about it on the show, but now CNN has basically confirmed it that yes, at Warner Brothers Discovery, CNN's parent company owns a minority stake in AEW.
Right, but they still own a part of it. So technically, if something, right, if Warner Brothers Discovery, something happens to that, technically that would still, wouldn't it benefit AEW? Because, I mean, WWE still has a stake in it.
Maybe. Yeah, because WBD owns part of it, so I have to include that piece of AEW. So unless because Netflix is trying they're interested in buying like HBO Max and the streaming part of the business, not the actual cable stations. But the Trump administration is insisting on whoever buys the digital part of the business also has to buy the cable stations. So there's negotiation between Netflix and the administration WBD. It's like a mess right now. So let's see. WWE, founded by the McMahon family, started in the 1950s as a relatively small company based in northeastern United States. Then it rolled up as regional rivals in the 80s to dominate wrestling coast to coast. It is the largest wrestling promotion in the world, and it regularly garners double, if not triple, of AEW's audience economics.
Well,
CNN had to admit
yes, that is
a
fact. And even if Dave Meltzer tries to put his 2 cents into it and make shit up all the time, where literally he's just like, well, Raw did 700,000 and AEW did better than that. They did 1.6 million. I went, I think you have that backwards.
Numbers. Yeah.
I think you have that completely backwards.
This is from WrestleMania 23, the billionaire versus billionaire match they had. Let's see. As WWE grew, the conservative political involvement of the McMahon family grew with it. Vince McMahon, who purchased the company from his father in 1982, was the executive chairman before resigning in 2024. Is a personal friend of U.S. President Donald Trump, and his wife, Linda McMahon, is a U.S. Education Secretary. His son-in-law, Paul, also known by his wrestling name, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or Triple H, is the vice chair of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. Trump himself is a member of WWE Hall of Fame. We all know that.
I'm sorry. I have to chuckle at that because, again, Linda McMahon is literally trying to make sure that poor kids don't get educated. All you need to know is yes, sir, yes, master, no master, and that's all you have to know.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't, if I'm president, Vince McMahon could have become president. I mean, that's how insane.
And then, like I said, would anyone be shocked that literally Vince would be in the Epstein files? Would anyone be shocked that his name would be there? I'm just asking.
AEW's willingness to have wrestlers take stances on contemporary issue has become for fans a point of distinction between the promotions, drawing audience wary of the McMahon's connections back to sports entertainment. It's the McMahons are gone from WWE. One's left is technically Triple H, and Stephanie makes appearances once in a blue moon, but the McMahons have gone from wrestling for what, 3 years now, 2 years at least.
Well, and that's why it's a publicly traded company, that they don't have to be there. They can do other things like destroy this country, one educational kid at a time, right? So I think that this is, well, let's just say that Stephanie, I believe that she is the owner, okay? Even though technically she doesn't own it, it's Triple H who owns it, but I think Stephanie definitely, because it's kind of like turning out to be like, nobody knew that Vince McMahon actually owned the WWF until it came out in like, what, 96, 97, that he was actually the owner of the company. So that could be something like with Stephanie, like, her and Triple H own the company, but no one's saying anything.
It could be. But technically, it came out in 92 when Vince went on trial, for that steroid thing. But they did acknowledge it on TV in like 96, 97. Yeah, so he was still just a commentator to the WWF audience. So Scott Lang of Atlanta was a wrestling fan when he was in college. Wrestlers like former Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, popular. He enjoyed it all. He enjoyed how it all seemed simultaneously over the top yet self-aware. But then there was a lot of totally ugly stuff, he said, and he stopped watching for 20 years. That was during the ruthless aggression era, which was going over the top. And around that time, Triple H had sex with a dead woman on air, and that was the case.
Actually, it was a doll, but yeah, it was a doll.
Yeah, no, but they claimed he was a dead necrophilia.
Right, because he was something about Kane and Katie Vick, apparently.
Yeah.
Something in Kane's past where he deleted a woman named Katie Vick. Nobody knows what the heck that storyline was all about, and where did it go, because it disappeared.
Then Kane allegedly had sex with her corpse, and then that was what Triple H was copying in that skit or vignette or whatever. And then the storyline kind of disappeared from TV. I think everyone realized that went too far, or the advertisers called Vince and went crazy over it, or the TV station. So it's like, yeah, we gotta drop this shit, pal.
Yeah, I mean,
it never appeared again.
Triple H kind of made reference to it, if you remember correctly. He's like, I have sex with a doll, but so and so, so he sort of made reference to it, but it disappeared faster than you could shake a stick at.
Yeah. So this guy's Scott, or the hell his name is, he claims that AEW, though in large part, he said it was because the wrestlers were allowed to express themselves more freely. A lot of the main roster is politically aware and seems to care about making the country a better place, Lang said. That's not their place. They're professional wrestlers.
How are they making this country a better place? Because they stick they put each other's heads in freaking fish tanks, or they put syringes in each other's mouths. How is that fixing the country, you idiot?
Yeah, apparently he likes the virtue signaling and grandstanding these wrestlers do over there. It's what Brody King does with his abolish ice shirts and giving money to Minnesota. I don't know how that would work, and somehow that makes him a good guy.
That's all just a distraction. It's all just a distraction away from Tony Khan and the fact that Chad Khan is probably in the Epstein files.
Yeah. Representatives for Brody King declined to comment. AEW and Friedman and WWE did not respond for requests for comments. So what happened, Brody King? I thought you were proud of this. Like, why don't you come out with comments to the story? I mean, you were proud of this, right? I guess not. Unless AEW told him not to comment on this story. But
see, that's the thing, I stick up for what I believe in, but then when it comes to sticking up, they're nowhere to be found.
He won't comment
he won't comment on the thing. So again, this was all just kabuki theater like you were talking about yesterday, and I have so much to say about what you said yesterday. I was like literally spewing fire in my room as I was trying not to die from, from issues. So anyway, but yeah, like it's just like, oh well, they stand up for their beliefs and they wear these abolish ICE and stuff. They don't really mean it. That was probably just all kabuki theater to make you go, yeah. I mean, they stand for something. No, they don't.
It's a perfect opportunity for him to stand for what he believed in by commenting on the story. He didn't. He did. Representatives for Brody King declined to comment. Representatives for AEW Freedom respond for requests for comments. Of course, he's not going to respond. But I would think that AEW or Friedman would at least because especially MJF running his mouth about how we allow freedom from our fans and we let them say whatever they want. Wrestlers say whatever they want, and it's like why didn't he respond to comments?
Because that's been debunked over and over again. They kick out people who have Jim Cornette shirts because Jim Cornette talks badly about AEW, and rightfully so. So if you really care about freedom of speech, then you would let people who wear different shirts like WWF shirts, then you wouldn't kick them out. You wouldn't tell them to take off the shirt.
Yeah. The next part of the article called Controversy Creates Cash, which is, by the way, Eric Bischoff's book. I'm surprised he didn't try to sue him for using his name. The book is the name was
Hey, book. Bischoff, and I think he died to get on this.
Yeah. Anyways, the founding family of AEW, like the McMahons, rose from relatively humble origins. The father of AEW's founder, Tony Khan, Shahid Khan, Pakistan in 1950, and moved to the U.S. when he was 16 for college. While still in college, he began working for Flex & Gates, an automotive supplier. By the time he was 30, he bought the company, bought the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars.
Why should I literally get down on my knees and suck off Chad Khan? That is stupid.
Yeah, he literally bought the Jaguars, and they've been consistently one of the worst teams in football. But
he is a billionaire. Why the fuck am I literally bowing down at the feet of a fucking billionaire who probably is on the Epstein files? I don't give a goddamn. No, you don't understand. Okay, I get it. He's from what, Pakistan?
Yeah, he's from Pakistan.
No. Okay, so he's from Pakistan. Okay, he came over here. He came over here legally. Again,
went to the U.S.
And I get that, Vince McMahon grew up in a trailer park. He didn't, but his dad was a billionaire, and Chad Khan is a billionaire. So again, guys, I cannot. You might as well just blow Chad Khan while you're down there, for God's sakes, or God's sake.
Tony Khan founded AEW in 2019. No, he didn't. His dad did. Tony he made him president of the company. So that's not even true.
The difference between Vince McMahon and Tony Khan is that Tony Khan had every effing thing handed to him on a silver platter. This is a boy who was born with a silver spoon in his effing mouth. Vince McMahon was born poor. He didn't even know that he had a billionaire or millionaire father until he was a millionaire, not a billionaire. And
12.
And here's the thing. Vince actually bought the company from his father. Tony Khan didn't.
No, he asked his dad, can he have a wrestling company?
Dad,
yes.
Can I have a wrestling company for Christmas?
And he said yes, and he made him. Yeah, he made him. He is like, yes, you can have a wrestling company. I'll start it and make you president. So Tony had nothing to do with the founding of the company. He just asked his dad, and he said yes. That's all it was.
And that is the major difference between Vince McMahon and Tony Khan. Tony Khan was born literally with a silver spoon in his mouth. And they want to say, oh, well, Chad Khan, he came from humble origins too. I don't give two fucks. Vince McMahon Sr. did not say, okay, here you go, Vince Jr. Here's your company. Now go ahead and make a billionaire of yourself. No, Vince actually bought it from his father.
Yeah, in fact, Vince Sr. didn't want his son in the business. In fact, he here, I'll let you go to college, go be a lawyer, go be an accountant, have a real job.
Yeah, he didn't even want to be a wrestler. Vince McMahon Jr. wanted to be a wrestler of his life.
Yeah,
and he had to be a promoter.
Didn't do that either.
And he didn't really get to wrestle until later in life.
Yeah, until like the mid '90s when he finally wrestled Steve Austin, and then he finally got in the ring. But yeah, right. I mean, Vince wanted to be a wrestler. He said, "No, of course not. My promoter's son can't be a worker," even though other promoters' sons have done it. But so yeah, eventually he didn't want him even buying the business. He wanted him out of the business. Like
he was going to give it to Gorilla Monsoon. He was going to give that business to Gorilla Monsoon. Yeah. There was already plans, and there was no way people were going to say, "Oh, Vince Jr. actually bought that company." He bought the company from his father, from the fact that he made profits in Maine. Wasn't it Maine? The territory of Maine?
Yeah, Vince Sr. told him promote a card in Maine, and if you do well, maybe I'll give you other things to do, which he did do well. So okay, well, that's when it started. So he
ended up taking that money, and that's how he paid his father back. Tony Khan has not done any of that. Tony Khan thinks he's a superstar. He's not. You're not a superstar.
No, he's. Well,
I'm not saying that Vince is either. All I'm saying is that the two stories are not similar.
Shahid Khan called himself a big fan of President Trump's economic policy to his 2017 inauguration. Shahid did not donate to his 2025 inauguration and said he differs with Trump on social issues like religion and immigration. Both Khans have donated to both political parties according to public filings. Ooh, that's interesting.
That's what billionaires do.
Ooh. No, AEW fans will hate to see this, but Tony's donated to Republicans.
Yes.
Ooh, that's... So, I knew that already.
He funded both sides.
I knew that already.
The billionaires, they literally fund both sides. That's why Republicans and Democrats both suck. They fund both sides.
According to AEW fans, Tony's like this great liberal, this left-winger. But no, he's donated to Republicans too. Tony, not just his dad, but Tony himself.
You got egg on your face there. And what is it with AEW fans being, pedos?
That I don't. I mean,
it was that one guy.
Unlike
I guess.
the McMahons,
I don't know.
Yeah, McMahon's Tony Khan has said he doesn't like to publicly involve himself in politics. But if the wrestlers do show, it's all part of the show. No, it's not. I mean, you got to stop your wrestlers from doing shit like that. Because I'm sure that advertisers are not going to advertise with you because of that, or TBS probably gave you a phone call like, what the fuck?
Just like they did with Vince when it got controversial, right? Yeah. Having sex with the dead like Triple H did, or name another storyline that went rogue and no one ever heard of it again. Actually, I know that Sean Worley, who is Val Venus, he was supposed to be a gay porn star, but he said no.
Yeah, he turned down eventually he was turned, but he was supposed to be gay initially. Like Vince Russo came up with the idea of a gay porn star so that was the gimmick initially. He's like, I'm not doing that. So how about you're straight? It's like, okay. I mean, they'll do that. But, quote, the wrestlers, they are themselves as part of what makes the show great, Khan said on a media call this past September. Quote, whether everyone agrees with everything every wrestler says or not is not the point of the show to me. It's a great wrestling show. Let's see what else. The key to understanding strategy in wrestling, Lane said, is that the title book by the former wrestling executive and WWE Hall of Fame member Eric controversy creates cash. The bottom line is with wrestling is attention, selling attention.
No, they're selling crap. They are selling bullshit storylines that don't make any fucking sense. Excuse my language. They don't make any sense. They literally just, who sticks syringes in people's mouths? That's not, you don't do that on purpose. You don't hit people with screwdrivers for no freaking reason. Nobody knows where their storylines are going or why this guy is fighting that guy. They literally just stop storylines midway, even on the same dang show.
Yeah, there's no consistency. There's no, it's just, whatever Tony Khan feels like doing that week, that's what, or whatever the wrestlers feel like doing that week, that's what they're going to do. ownership ties to the WWE shows signs of playing to the other side too. Lately, Lane noted that WWE star villain Becky Lynch has been using some familiar language while playing up her status as a sore loser. I've gotten counsel from the best lawyers declared at one point in a recent story interview. I've won 100% of my matches, and that haven't been rigged. And like I've discussed with Becky Lynch, she said on an interview that she's doing a parody of Donald Trump, but it's not a good one. So she's just hamming it up for the camera.
And there has been shit out of WWE lately. Nobody knows why this storyline started, why that one started, and then they ended up like not doing the storyline anyway. And excuse me, there's just a lot of stuff even in WWE, but this is just. I mean, I watched some of the highlights, and I don't even watch AEW, and it sucks. And I can tell you it sucks.
So Becky Lynch is doing basically a bad parody of Donald Trump with her promos and stuff now. I don't necessarily want didactic political speech out of wrestlers, Lang said, but I enjoy watching a company where I feel like people's hearts are in the right place. They're aware of what's going on.
No, they don't. They do exactly what Tony Khan tells them to do. If they say, go out there and create controversy, then that's what they effing do. Don't tell me that, these wrestlers, they think with their hearts and they are the business. No, they're not even good Circus du Soleil performers.
No, I don't necessarily, blah, blah, blah. You can subtly comment on the world and the things that are happening without beating your hands in about it. He had it. So
I think this guy just blows Tony Khan and Chad Khan. That's literally what that was. That was literally just blowing Chad Khan because you like something about AEW wrestling that you don't see in WWE. Again, it's not Vince McMahon at the helm anymore. He's not going over and above what he needs to do every week. Now, yes, some of the storylines don't make sense. They're not doing good work. But again, with there are certain storylines that are knocking it out of the park. Punk and Reigns. We've never seen that, and we're going to see it. So again, that's stuff that knocks it out of the park. So I don't understand. Like, this is just one big blowjob to Tony Khan and Chad Khan.
I'm not the only one that said in the comments. It says nice ad for an AEW by a fellow WBD company. Mm-hmm. That's all really what it was. It's just a fellatio piece for AEW and Tony Khan. WWE for morons. I mean, the way that's dumb. That are easily entertained by Neanderthal behaviors. Ironically, Linda McMahon was a significant figure in WWE and now is in charge of dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. Must be to assure that there'll be plenty of fans in the future.
No. First of all, the reason that Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education has absolutely nothing to do with WWE. First of all. Second of all, you just described exactly how I feel about AEW fans. So I guess you're a Neanderthal dumbass who literally loves to watch AEW because you like to screw kids. How about that? I can make the same observation, moron.
Yeah, so that's that. That was CNN just giving a puff piece to AEW because they're all part of the same big happy family or company.
Well, guess what? I'm still not going to watch it. So,
so they're claiming that Brody King is somehow, bringing politics into wrestling, and somehow it's a good thing. Yeah, it's not. It's not a good thing for his career because now he's just going to be known as the guy who says abolish ICE, and he's not over other than that because. All of a sudden now he's over it because everybody likes him. Everybody likes the fuck ICE thing. But it's just absurd to me that.
But is that what it's going to take to get these guys over? Because they can't do it on their own. AEW sucks so bad they won't even have their ratings publicly acknowledged. Literally, WrestleNomics has Brandon Thurston was given a cease and desist letter. I was talking about this earlier when I was talking about this on my show that I just recorded that you had Dave Meltzer who blows Tony Khan because they're boyfriends. Literally, he blows Tony Khan and says, "Oh well, Raw ratings weren't as close. AEW knocked it out of the park." I went, "They are not even close, and they never will be." I want to see those ratings if that's true, Dave Meltzer. I want to see the ratings from Raw, and I want to see the ratings from AEW. But last time I checked, Brandon Thurston was told to cease and desist and not share publicly those ratings from AEW. Why the secrecy?
Tony Khan claims that his ratings are part of his AEW trademark and proprietary property, so Brandon Thurston cannot share the ratings.
That's such
even though
shit.
that no company's ever claimed that their ratings are somehow corporate trade secrets.
That's
which is
because,
really what he
again,
said.
if it's such a trade secret, then why won't you publish it? Why would you just, if you're so proud of these ratings, why wouldn't you be like, oh, look at our trademark. Look at our ratings. Ha, 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 ha. No, you're just a piece of shit who literally wants to literally hide the fact that nobody watches your stupid garbage program.
Yeah, so right now there's a World Heavyweight title match between MJF and Brody King in Australia on I think this Wednesday night. So there apparently rumors spreading that they might put the belt on Brody King just because of try to strike when the iron's hot with this moment. So even fans in Australia were saying fuck ICE, and I'm like, wait, Australia has much more stringent immigration laws than the U.S. Yeah. They're a lot more strict than we are. So why are they saying fuck ICE when they would do the exact same thing? Their government to illegals. So that's a big irony there.
Well, and again, we have virtue signaling. We have Kabuki theater. Again, this is just a distraction. Somehow Chad Khan and Tony Khan are trying to distract from the fact that we know who's in those Epstein files, and we're coming for you.
So on Raw, AJ Lee challenged Becky Lynch challenged AJ Lee, but AJ Lee won't take the match. They put the Intercontinental on the line, Becky agreed to it. So now Elimination Chamber is AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental. So it's the first time we've seen AJ Lee since WrestlePalooza, pretty much 6 months ago. It's like, wait, did she get fired or did she leave? Because she's been gone. Like CM Punk's been there every week, but she's gone. Like she just disappeared into the ether. Now she's back all of a sudden to face Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental. And actually, no, we saw her at Survivor Series War Games, I think. I forgot about that. It's such a bad show that I completely forgot about that. All right, so the Usos retain their tag titles against Alpha Academy. Who cares? We have Stephanie Vicor, Liv Morgan, and Dominic Mysterio segment.
Yeah, that was kind of...
Most of it was in Spanish, and it ended up with Liv Morgan calling Stephanie Vicor puta or bitch, and then he's like, or slut, actually, really technically what it means. And she slapped Dominic in the face, and that was the end of the segment. So, I mean, Stephanie Vicor's title reign has been falling flat, and that's mostly booking's fault because they have no good opponents for her. And
she's a great wrestler. Push her.
And they still don't have a great opponent for her. And they're going to stick her with Liv Morgan at WrestleMania? I'm sorry. I mean, Liv is... she's like an entertainer. She's not really a good worker. So that's not going to be a good match for her. So
I would rather see Rhea Ripley and her, knock it out of the park and bring the house down. But now they have Liv Morgan, who came back from a shoulder injury. Like that gives her, oh, well, she was out with a shoulder injury. Now we have to give her the belt. No, we don't.
Yeah, then Stephanie's title run has fallen flat, and that's mostly on the booking because all the top girls are in the tag team division for some reason. Oh, by the way, where's Bianca Belair? It's like she just disappeared into the ether herself, and she's only had, 2 matches in the last 2 years? I mean, where the hell is she? I mean, I forgot she even existed, and so somebody brought her up the other day. It's like, oh, yeah, where the hell is she? Like, she's not fired as far as I know. So, let's see. What else happened on Raw? Rhea Ripley qualified for the Elimination Chamber. Of course she did. She's going to lose anyways. She's probably not going to win that match. CM Punk challenged Finn Balor to the match Elimination Chamber. Eventually ended up being a World Heavyweight title match, which we all know that Finn Balor is going to lose because they already promoting the main event of CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. So they're not going to put the belt on Finn Balor. So that's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maxine Dupree versus Natty. So who cares?
And it was a knockout drag out, I heard.
Yeah, they're still insisting on pushing Maxine, even though she can't wrestle. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They've tried. They put her with Natalia. They put her with Becky Lynch. They've tried. They tried to get her to get better, but wrestling's not for her. But apparently, she's such a nice girl that they're still pushing her because she's nice. So, like, come on.
Nice does not mean you're a good wrestler.
No, I mean they keep throwing her out there to the wolves, and it's not good. Let's see. Javon Evans teams with the original Grande Americano to face Los Americanos. Who cares? I mean, honestly, Chad Gable, I feel bad for him. He's still stuck in that gimmick. Let's see.
I mean, and he's not even the one who's over in Mexico.
No, it's Kaiser. He's the one that's over. Why the hell is he still underneath that mask? I'll never know. I don't know what the plan is ultimately. I hope they don't unmask Kaiser because that'll just destroy what they're doing in Mexico with him. So, let's see. At the end of the show, we had LA Knight versus Austin Theory to qualify for Elimination Chamber, and LA Knight wins. He needed help, apparently, to defeat Austin Theory because the Masked Man came out and attacked Austin Theory. And that's how he beat Austin Theory. So LA Knight needed help to defeat Austin Theory. Can you imagine how ridiculous that sounds when LA Knight's more over than nearly anyone in the company? It's like, oh yeah, he needs help to defeat Austin Theory, obviously. Come on. I just like, really? I rolled my eyes at that one.
And enough with the Masked Man, okay? It was stupid enough the first time. It was dumb enough the second time. Now it's like, okay, enough is enough. Enough with the Masked Man bullshit, Black Scorpion or whatever the hell it's supposed to be. Come on, guys. We are freaking grown adults here.
On top of that, it's worse because Braun Breaker is gone. I mean, he's just going to be out for months because he
back hernia.
He had a back hernia, so he had major surgery in order to repair that. So he's not going to be there at WrestleMania. He might not be back until the end of the year, possibly. Maybe in the fall we won't see him again. So it's like his push is pretty much disappeared for now. They have no choice. I mean,
that's why I was listening to James Romero. If you can check him out, just look up James Romero and you'll find it's Romero. He was talking about the fact that, his brother had a hernia and had hernia surgery and blah, blah, blah. He was saying, 6 to 8 weeks maybe. So he may have time to come back to WrestleMania, but that's up in the air right now. So, but he was speculating how, they took him out in the Royal Rumble. He was supposed to be number 1, I think they were saying, but they moved him to number 2 because he was already hurt by then. And they did this mass bullshit thing, but it was like a spur of the moment kind of thing. So, and obviously that was to set up Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker anyway.
Now that's not going to happen most likely. So
most likely, but
how the hell they're going to get out of this one, I don't know. Who's because if it ends up being Seth Rollins, who's going to wrestle? Either it's going to be Logan Paul or Bronson Reed. Mm-hmm. And that's not going to be as good as match it would have been with Braun Breaker. So it's like, how do you get out of that one?
and honestly, I feel bad because Braun is so young and he's so talented. Everything he does, you want to cheer for him, even if he's like, you want to cheer for him because you're just like, oh, he's got that, that something, right? That Cody has, and also, anyone who's really second generation had. Kurt had it too. So, I mean, you want to cheer for him, even though he's a heel, you still want to be behind him 100%. And this is so heartbreaking to know that he's 27, 28 years old and he has like a bad back injury where he had a bad hernia. Oh, my heart goes out to him. And Braun,
because now his big WrestleMania moment's not going to happen. So it's like, it sucks. So on SmackDown, SmackDown was just awful. We had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Irresistible Forces, which is Nia Jax and the other girl from NXT. They ended in no contest, whatever. The MFTs brawl with Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, and more, whatever. The MFTs triumphed in a 10-man tag team match. So the MFTs just beat everybody. whatever. Alexa Bliss qualifies for Elimination Chamber. Who cares? Trick Williams battles Ray Phoenix in Electric Showdown. Really? I mean,
I mean,
Ray
I don't
Phoenix is
really.
just.
I just don't see Williams going anywhere. He didn't really impress me at the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry, but I don't see the trick. Okay. I don't see the trick.
Ray Phoenix is Penta's brother, and since he debuted, they've done nothing with him. He's basically just a job guy. He just gets beat by everybody. They're pushing his brother, but not him. I mean, he's just been floundering on SmackDown. Let's see. Jade Cargill versus Jordan Grace for the women's title. That's Jade Cargill's first title defense in like 4 or 5 months. She became champion.
Yeah.
So it just shows they had nothing for her for months, or they didn't trust her in the ring. It's one or the other. So I don't know.
And didn't she come out during the whole? It was Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio were having some kind of love fest for Valentine's Day, and she came out and ruined it or something. I saw that too. Yeah. I'm like, oh, guys, come on, get over yourself. We all know Dominic and Liv Morgan are headed for, Split City.
It seems like they're teasing that Liv Morgan might choose Jade Cargill, and there's no reason for her to do that because Liv Morgan's so small and she's so big, so it makes more sense to put her with Stephanie, even though I wouldn't like that match either. Liv Morgan was just a terrible choice to win the Rumble because either she cannot stand up to either girl. Like, she's just a tiny little model, that's not a good wrestler, and she just happens to have some charisma. It's very similar to a lot of, like, Jey Uso type. Jey Uso is just charisma, a catchphrase, and an entrance, and once you get him in the ring, especially by himself, oh my God, it's just brutal. All right, so the main event happened. Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu versus Sami Zayn to qualify for Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber. And, of course, Cody wins because Cody always wins, and he's
everything Drew McIntyre tried to throw at him literally backfired. I just saw the end of that match just before I got on here, and I was just like, oh, okay. So he does the Claymore to Cody. He beats Cody up, puts him into the table and stuff. Or no, he gives the Claymore to Jacob Fatu, and puts Cody in the table. Takes out Jacob Fatu, and he puts Sammy over on Cody, and of course Cody kicks out, and you have the Cody does his thing, and ends up 1, 2, 3, and to the shock and dismay of course Drew McIntyre, but I mean, a 3-way, there's no disqualification anyway. So the referee's looking at Drew McIntyre going, get out of here. But I mean, he can't really say that. I mean, he can say it, but Drew doesn't really have to move anywhere.
Yeah, he can't really, he doesn't really have the power to do anything. So, yeah, I mean, this match was not, Cody qualifies. It's very predictable he's going to win this match, and it'll be McIntyre versus Cody at WrestleMania for the belt in night 1.
So, I mean, it's either that or somehow they're going to make it a 3-way with Jacob Fatu. I mean, that's who they want to see. They don't want to see Sami Zayn. They don't want to see him.
They have to get Jacob Fatu in there somehow. We've seen Cody versus Drew 1 million times in the last 6 months. So is that really what they want to do again at WrestleMania? By the way, bringing up WrestleMania, ticket sales have been very slow for this year's Mania.
That's because they're so damn high.
Yeah, I could have predicted this with TKO, and their pricing. In fact, it was so bad, they allegedly had a department head meeting. So every single department head, they had a big meeting with the executives of TKO trying to figure out, oh my God, why didn't people not buying this shit for WrestleMania this year? What's going on? We have Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, and nobody's coming to this thing. Like, nobody's buying tickets. And I'm like, yeah, because they're way too high. The storylines are not good heading into the show. This is brutal. 99% of them. Yeah. The only good ones you could say what Roman and Punk are doing, and what Cody in the main events pretty much. The rest of the show is just a slog getting to the main events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in our day, WrestleManias had to be good. The whole card had to be good. Like WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 4, WrestleMania 5, WrestleMania 6. again, these cards the whole card had to be good. Otherwise, they're just filler matches.
Yep, and they had to be good because the whole year was built around WrestleMania.
Right.
And WrestleMania didn't draw, then everyone's screwed because nobody makes money throughout the year. So most of the money was made at WrestleMania. So it had to draw. They had no choice, which is why Hogan main evented nearly every year, especially in the first 10 WrestleManias. So
he ended up at 9. Yeah, at 9 because. Yeah. I mean, no offense, but Hogan could draw, but again, you don't have that luxury. You don't have your Hulk Hogan anymore. Not that you needed him. But you didn't need him. Hogan was dead stale anyway.
The closest thing to that today is Roman Reigns. That's why they keep putting him last. Yeah, they keep putting him on top.
Well, and that's why he kind of said in an interview, I let all these other people step up to the plate, and no one stepped up to the plate. But Roman, you have to understand, the booking for them went as soon as you left. They can book for you, Reigns, because you've been the champion for 4 years. You know what it was like and how they booked you for 4 years. Imagine now they have all these people here that are vying for that spot, but they don't want to book any of them. Not correctly anyway. So it gets under my skin when people are like, oh, WWE is worse than AEW. You show me one person on that AEW roster that can hold a candle to what Kurt used to do and all the storylines that Kurt was in as Mr. Perfect. I just saw a match between him and Roddy Piper where Piper accidentally pulled his tights down a little too far. Both of them. He's supposed to pull the top one off, and then Kurt had, black ones underneath. But he accidentally pulled both of them down. I'm like, whoa! Can I see that again in slow-mo? Okay. No. But all these matches that, even Kurt was in, and he was bouncing around, and he could sell his ass off, and he could, cheat his ass off, just like Jim Cornette said, because Kurt knew the business. None of these guys and none of the bookers want to help him to get them to know the business and know how to sell and know how to do a storyline and what to say. The promos are all written down, and I'm surprised any of these guys know anything whatsoever, where the wrestlers we grew up with could literally do a promo off the top of their heads, and do it well. They could do it well.
It's so over, WWE at least, is so overproduced that if you see it in that series, that'd be unreal. They just straight up, the producer of the match backstage straight up calls the match. And the referee goes back and forth, if you notice, telling him what the next spot is. And they do it.
Yeah.
So this is, unless it's like a Cody match or Roman or Punk, somebody on top. For the most part, the producer of the match is on the headset telling the referee to tell the ref what to do next. That's how overproduced it is now.
Wow. And see, our guys, they would call spots in the ring if they forgot where they were going. If a guy got lost and couldn't remember what to do next, the other guy was there to, go like that. And, hey, you throw me into the ropes, you do this, and then I'll do that. Now, did you see my lips move at any point when I had it like this? No, it looks like I'm not talking, right? So that's what they would do. That's how you get an audience to see. You can't see my mouth moving, so how can you tell if I'm actually saying something?
And I could tell that that's true because in WWE, at least, the referee's always checking on the wrestlers, like getting right next to them. And it's like, why did they check on the wrestlers on a normal spot? And that's why, because the producer is telling the referee, tell so-and-so to do this move next on so-and-so. So that they literally overproduce these guys, to the point where
are you drinking?
They don't. No, but they overproduce these guys so much to the point where they don't have to do anything. Like they're waiting for the referee to tell them the next spot, and that's not the way how wrestling should be. That's why a lot of these green talent ends up on TV because they don't need to know anything because the producer backstage tells them what to do next. So either be Michael Hayes or fucking whoever back there, Bruce Pritchard, whoever's back there producing these matches. They're the ones that are telling them what to do pretty much. So they don't have to know anything. But when they leave WWE to AEW, that's an issue because they're not producing them at all. So I don't know
So
how
you
they
have
pulled
the
that off.
extremes, right? You have the not
Yeah.
producing at all and the producing too much. Also, I wanted to ask, could we just not have a clips? I have to call my son.
Okay, we could wrap up now, but I have to tell Alex not to come
Yeah,
on
I'm
because he
sorry.
was.
I'm sorry,
No, it's
Alex.
okay. I just hold on. Let me. Whoops. Get rid of that. I can. We can wrap up in a few minutes, but.
I promised my son I would call him, and I totally forgot to. Oh crap! I forgot.
Oh, he usually comes on at the time.
I thought he was watching some kind of NASCAR race or something.
Well, he is, but he was intending on coming on at 9 o'clock.
Oh,
so
sorry, little brother.
Yeah, we'll do it next week, hopefully. So yeah, so that's all we got this week for you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Friday, Angel in the afternoon. Hopefully, Witch will be back, and Alex will too.
Yeah, I'll definitely be back next week because I have a lot to say about what you said this week.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, hope everybody enjoyed the show. Like and subscribe. Have a nice weekend, everybody.